and today we're coming to you with another video, another little piece of Disney news that's flying around the interwebs today. It's something coming from the New York Post, and I thought it was kind of interesting, and I thought that I would touch base on it and talk about it just for a few minutes this evening. I just finished reading the articles from the New York Post, and it's about Bob Chapek, CEO of our Walt Disney Company. Apparently, some people are pretty upset with Mr. Chapek with some of his recent decisions, and I don't even know that you can say they're all his recent decisions because everything is delegated and so forth to various aspects of Disney leadership and so forth within the company. But either way, it looks like a lot of anger and frustration is being focused directly on Bob or Mr. Chapek. And basically, you can read the title of the story yourself. It says, "Outraged Disney shareholders want CEO Bob Chapek voted out." And there's a quote there from someone that says, "Magic is gone. The magic is gone." And so here's the deal. I'll give you the real quick gist of what's going on and what the deal is. There's a Reddit or subreddit out there that was set up. And actually, you know what? It's in this article. Let me see what the name of this subreddit is. They actually linked to it if you wanted to see it. Because I went in there and I read for a couple of seconds before I clicked the little record button here so I could get an idea of what the users necessarily were talking about and so forth. But the name of the subreddit is "Unhappy with the Current State of Disney Parks" with a question mark. Okay, fair enough. So here's the deal. If you're a Disney shareholder, it depends on your brokerage, but mine sent me a questionnaire thing or whatever. I think it came through last week. Should have come through last week, where you actually get to vote on different Disney board members and et cetera, and so forth. And I guess some people have received their voting ballot or whatever you want to call it. And I think they came up with the idea to vote no against keeping Bob Chapek as CEO of the Walt Disney Company. With the thought process behind it that it would show that they're very unhappy with him and yada, yada, yada in his decisions. And maybe that could get the ball rolling on eventually replacing him or, the board not keeping him or something. I think people maybe have a little bit of a vision back to the Michael Eisner era and how that one came to an end with Roy Disney Jr. kind of pressuring and getting the board together to get Eisner out of there and so forth. But anyway, so if you go into the subreddit, it's a lot of people talking about that they're unhappy with Bob Chapek, blaming him for park pass reservations, jacked up annual pass ticket prices in general going up, food costs going up, merchandising costs going up, just overall complaining about the cost of Disney parks in general, like a Disney vacation, hotel resort rate, rates going up and so forth. And I read it a little bit, and the comments that I saw on the subreddit, look, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but I think a lot of the people that were talking in the subreddit are maybe a little bit, but not out of place, but maybe they're placing their anger towards someone that probably, look, I'm not going to defend Bob Chapek. I don't know the guy personally, obviously, or anything. So I can't defend him personally, but I don't necessarily know that he's had a chance really to, for a chance for me to judge how he's running the company yet, considering Disney is just emerging from the pandemic and, we know what that did. And, it was crisis mode. The company was in crisis mode for a long time. And you could even say technically they could still be a little bit in a crisis mode if another variant or something like that came along, or who knows. But, I made a video before, maybe I think last week or whatever, and I was talking about why the Disney parks are so expensive right now, and if you haven't seen that video, maybe I can link it in the description. But, I don't necessarily think that Bob Chapek is raising prices to be mean. If you want to just say Bob Chapek is doing it, I don't think Bob Chapek is raising prices on merchandise to be the shrewd capitalist or something like that. I think a lot of it just goes back to inflation. We talked about it in the previous video. Inflation is out of control, 40-year high. We get CPI numbers, consumer price index numbers come out this week. So we'll get another touch of inflation this week to see how much worse it's getting. I don't think anybody anticipates it's getting any better yet, because interest rates have not started to go up yet. That doesn't start till March. So, Disney is just like any other company out there. If you've been out there trying to buy a new car lately, you know how high the price of cars have gone up. You're trying to buy a used car, you know how high the price of used cars has gone up. Used car prices go up because not enough new cars are being sold because they're, inflated. The prices are very inflated. And if there's not enough new cars selling, that means there's not enough trade-ins. Not enough trade-ins means there's not enough used cars on the market. It's just, it's one big vicious circle or whatever. Inflation is not fun for anybody. We know that. I don't have to tell you that. But so the Disney company, they're dealing with the same thing. We see it on the ground when you go into a merchandise location. Shelves are empty. Christmas merchandise is still for sale at the World of Disney. And when am I making this? February 7th. On February 7th, there's still some Christmas merch at World of Disney. That was a no-no up until before the pandemic. You would never see that. That merchandise was gone, and it'd be like at a character warehouse or something like that. So Disney still is dealing with supply chain issues. So they're keeping, outdated seasonal merchandise on their shelves because they don't have merchandise to fill those shelves yet or whatever. They're raising prices on merchandise because there's a demand for it. They don't have enough. There's a shortage, obviously, of merchandise with the supply chain disruptions and, with the supply chain disruptions, a lot of that has to do with Omicron. It shut down factories in China, it disrupted shipping lanes and all that type of stuff, trying to get cargo unloaded at the ports. It's been tough. And it's not just a Disney problem. It's a everybody problem. It's a every company problem. And so Disney has had to respond by raising prices. The cost of goods for Disney is more expensive today because of inflation. So Disney has two choices. Either, Disney has to raise their prices. If they don't raise their prices, they make less margin. If they make less margin, they have worse numbers. And by the way, Disney announces earnings 2 days from now on the 9th or whatever. Yeah, February 9th, after the close of the bell or after the market closes, they will be announcing earnings on the 9th. And anyway, so Disney, if they don't raise prices, it hurts the margin, hurts the stock value. Stock value will go down, or generally that's what would happen or something. So Disney has to, raise prices to keep up with this high inflation. That way their shareholders are not hurt. And if you're a shareholder, that should matter to you, I would think. You don't want your share prices to drop, or you would at least like to think that the executives at the company are thinking about the shareholders first. I know that is a hard thing for a lot of people to hear, but corporate executives, they have fiduciary responsibility to shareholders first over anybody else. And so their goal is to maintain that share price and to drive it up into, and the company has to grow. You need growth and that type of thing. So prices, what I'm trying to say, I don't believe they're going up because evil Bob Chapek is raising prices just to be like, a greedy CEO or something. Prices, I would assume, are going up because inflation in general. It just means that they're paying more money for goods. Everything costs more money for them to operate, and therefore they have to raise prices to make up for that, to keep the margins in line and so forth. I just don't know that I don't think he does. I don't think like he's ready to get the hammer yet. The guy just literally, Bob Iger just walked away finally, who ended up way overstaying how long he had planned to stay with the start of the pandemic. He ended up hanging around for almost 2 more years with the company as an advisor to help navigate the corona. And that's kind of the gist of it. Let me see here. It says one angry shareholder who recently visited Epcot vented over long lines and the fact that they have to now pay for access to FastPass, a program that allows customers to make reservations for rides without having to stand in line. Sure. Quote, the magic is gone. Parks were oversold. 2 hours plus waits for everything. Major rides like Ratatouille and Rise of the Resistance were down all day. Plus charging now for FastPass access, charging for parking at resorts, the user wrote. No parades, food prices out of control. Seriously, how many millions does one CEO need? See, this is when I read a comment like that, like seriously, how many millions does one CEO need? That tells me that there's probably the most informed person making that statement or something, because it's not that simple. It's not. It's not like Bob Iger, Bob Chapek. We will, we will shut down the most expensive rides. We will jack up costs. We will take away entertainment, raise the food prices because I want more money. It just doesn't work that way. It's a very simple thing to say or something. I don't know. And it says we've been to Disney annually for the last 12 years, and what's going on there now is heartbreaking. Well, I agree. I've been going to Disney World since 1984. I don't remember that well, 1984, but we've been going since 84 every year, blah, 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 live here now. And yes, the parks have changed. Experiences have changed. It's a post-pandemic world. A lot of things have changed right now, and we're still coming out of that pandemic. And, I mentioned in the video before, Disney's the busiest I've ever seen it at this time of the year. We were in the parks, yes, when was the last time we were in there? Sunday at Animal Kingdom. It was very busy. Animal Kingdom was very busy. There's this huge pent-up demand for people to travel that haven't had a chance to travel because of the pandemic, restrictions, this, that. And now that people feel more comfortable traveling and so forth, they've gotten their boosters or whatever makes them comfortable to travel, they are traveling, and the parks are going to be more busy. There's a bigger demand for traveling to Disney. Well, there's a bigger demand for traveling to Disney. Guess what? It's going to drive up the prices. It's going to, there's more demand for hotel rooms. The rates on the rooms go up. More demand to buy those, Starbucks tumblers. Guess what? They're going to add another $10 to the tumblers. They have raised the cost of merchandise, but you and I have all seen the videos of people ransacking the Emporium trying to get their hands on merchandise and stuff, even when the prices have gone up. So, I just think that there's just an overwhelming demand right now for trips to Disney World, if that's what they're trying. And that's what it sounds like this Reddit is trying to focus on, is like the parks itself, not the company itself in general, just the parks. And I understand that for someone who may not understand how this all works, that they may feel like they're just raising prices because they want more dollars in their pocket. No, it's not like that. It's a reaction to inflation. That's it. Like that. If you ask me what it is, it's a reaction to inflation, just like every other company out there is reacting. If you don't raise prices and you let the margin shrink, it's bad for shareholders. It can cause layoffs. It can, do you want cast members to be laid off? They're trying to navigate the waters as best they can while inflation as it is. Different economists have different ideas for how to get this, or how long this inflation is going to take to get under control. Interest rates start going up in March, but there's a lot of people that believe, or economists that I've read, that say that those tiny little increases like what we're going to see in March is not going to do much, if anything, to really start moving inflation down or to get it to inflect down. So as long as inflation continues to rise, I think you could kind of expect this cycle to continue, where just like the cost of gasoline might continue to go up, so might the cost of a ticket at a theme park or something. It's just one big circle. And again, I don't think they're doing it on purpose to be mean to somebody. So when I saw this story today, I said, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit, because I do believe like there are times when you can blame like a company for bad decisions or something, but I just don't think this one's fair. I don't think it's fair like to blame, ticket cost and stuff. Yes, they're trying to recoup money. They didn't make money during the pandemic. Disney lost a lot of money during the pandemic. But even then, I still don't think though that like the idea of raising prices is all related to just trying to recoup short-term money from what they lost in the past during the pandemic. I just think more it's just a reaction to the current economic or the current market environment with the inflation. That's pretty much it. So, and I see in here, like they brought up about the Star Cruiser. Look, that's something that someone could, yes, you could say like to who greenlighted the Star Cruiser, or who thought it was a good idea, who did the marketing that said like, there's a huge demand for this type of experience at this price point. Yeah, someone could probably have to answer for that. And maybe there was a marketing team that worked on it. And maybe they should answer for like, where did you come up with this from? Or, you can make some legitimate arguments about how Disney, I know I read it every day, I see it every day, just like you guys do, how they handled Star Wars, like how they handled the sequel trilogy. There's many people that are upset about that. There are many people upset about how the Boba Fett show is going. There's many people upset about the direction of Marvel going into the new phase of movies and so forth. We saw how bad Eternals did. Eternals, you may not have even seen it. I think like there's fair arguments to make, but in this one, I think it's a little bit, okay, I must say it's silly. If you think if you think like your little vote is going to make any difference, I don't think so. If anything, it helps though, because it's in the New York Post, I guess. But at the same time, I think it's I don't know that it's even silly. I just think that it's misguided frustration and anger. Like if you're upset about the cost of Disney, your anger should be just equal with the cost of everything else that's high right now. That's just it. Like you should be frustrated, not, how am I trying to say this? Disney's your vacation happy place. Be upset about the cost of steak right now, or cost of a piece of seafood, or a cost of a car part, because everything's just expensive. We know that. Cost of computers, cost of electronics. It's I don't know of anything. I was telling a buddy of mine, we were talking about it, and I said, this is the first time in my life that I can remember that there's just no good deal. Like usually like it's some time in your life, like, oh, that's a great deal on this, or that's a great deal on that. Or, hey, should you see this awesome deal that Best Buy's having or something? Like this is the first time in my life where like it doesn't exist. Maybe Disney Cruise Line. I don't want to say the Disney Cruise Line, great deal. So Disney Cruise Line may have the monopoly on like great deals right now. So yeah, if you're upset about the cost of a Disney World vacation, maybe look at Disney Cruise Line because it is awesome. It's awesome. And it's empty. The ships are still super low capacity. That's another subject. Me and Suzanne actually need to maybe make a video where we talk about our first Disney cruise. Maybe we'll do that as a live stream or something. I don't know. But anyway, give Bob Chapek a little bit of time. Let him, work his way into this. Let's see how earnings go on the 9th. We're 2 days away from that. We'll get a nice long earnings call at 4:30. It's open to the public. Anybody can listen to that. If you want to see what's on these executives at Disney's mind, you can see that. Like, what is their path for going? I would like this. I'm more concerned, honestly, when I think of Disney. I'm not concerned at all about the parks. The parks are doing fantastic. The merchandise is blowing off the shelves. People are still traveling, and I anticipate that will continue. And as long as interest rates are really, really low. I've talked about this before. As rates go up, that should start to slow things down a little bit. But that's maybe even a healthy thing to happen because that can bring the inflation back down a little bit. But the thing maybe I'm most concerned with Disney right now is the direction in movies and Hollywood on that angle, on the theatrical releases and so forth. There's a lot of issues going on, in my opinion, with that. And, I'm not happy with the direction of Star Wars like many people. I'm very concerned about the direction of Marvel. But I still think, though, that, give it time a little bit and let's just see what happens. But in this situation, give Bob a little bit of don't put all the pressure on Bob. It's not all Bob. It's not all Bob Chapek. Anyway, guys, that's a wrap on the video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. A lot of you guys have been subscribing. Do make sure to subscribe to the channel because I will be talking about Disney quite a lot on here. It seems like you guys enjoy it. So comment down below. Am I totally wrong about Bob Chapek, or are people just looking for that like scapegoat at the company that they just want to, it's all your fault? Because I think it's very simple to say that it's just one guy's fault. I mean, this is a very complex situation. It's not just affecting Disney, but it's affecting every company not even in the United States, but globally. Globally, inflation's out of control everywhere, every country. So go live in Turkey right now. Go look at what their inflation is like over there. It's almost to the point where it's could topple a government or something. So yeah. Anyway, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more fun Disney content, and comment down below. What do you think of what I was just saying? Does it make sense, or am I totally wrong? I love hearing your guys' opinions if I'm right or wrong on this or whatever. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you think I'm totally a moron about it, thumbs it down. Anyway, guys, take care. Have a great one. See you in the next video. Bye.